Hmm. Ah, how's everybody doing? Bear with me. I'm attempting to bring my business partner, a really good friend of mine, Miss Boomy Moore, into this live. We have a couple of things that we want to talk to you about. Okay, I see you watching, Boomy. Yeah. While Boomy is coming in, I just want to go ahead and let you know what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about commitment. You know, it doesn't matter which area of life that you're actually, as far as your occupation or anything that you're looking to do, if you don't have commitment, you're going to have a lot of problems. Ah, there she is. Awesome, awesome.
Hey, Terrell.
How's your day, Boomy?
Oh, it's so excited. I can't stand it. It's been fantastic. Been on the radio, done some personal development with my personal development tribe, and now I'm here with you, and I'm excited to be doing this live. So what you got planned for our audience today, Terrell?
You know what? This is our first joint live ever. Our first video ever. This is absolutely special.
Yes, it is.
Well, for one, right. And for one, I want to let everybody know exactly who you are. You know, to me, like I said, I'm sure everybody know who you are, but they don't know who you are to me.
All right.
People, Boomy, I met her probably, it was definitely over 10 years ago. And I'm going to tell you this here. Everything that I know so far as health and nutrition, even financial literacy, even though I did not meet Boomy until later on, it was the fact that she decided to do something different, to leave her teaching job and pursue what we do. Our profession is direct sales. When she chose to do that, somewhere down in her organization, here I was. I had not met her yet, but I'm telling you, the fact that she said yes to something different and stepped out on faith, if it was not for that, I wouldn't even be alive today.
Wow.
Serious. Yeah, I'm serious, Boom. You have no idea. You actually impacted and saved a lot of lives just by saying yes and choosing to be something different.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, everybody that has been healed from anything, any knowledge that you got from me, any financial problems that were solved, it's all because Boomy said yes. And even now, and I'm telling you, so this lady is absolutely special. She is a rock star. When it comes to being committed, which is what we're talking about, honestly, she's the queen of commitment. You know, you should really, like so her journey from where she was at, when she first began. My fact, Boomy, I'm telling you, if you have not had a chance to listen to her, you should really be joining her personal development call, and you should definitely be joining our family. All right. Anyway, Boomy, tell them a little bit about yourself. I didn't want to, jump the gun. Tell them how you got started into this profession.
Wow. Well, thank you for having me on your live, Terrell. And as you can see, guys, I'm multitasking, so I am driving while we're doing this, but it's okay. I'm going to pull over in a second. Well, how did I get into it? It was literally through my parents. I grew up in this industry of network marketing, and I got to see my parents go from your average, ordinary, middle class family just struggling to make ends meet, to them being introduced to this industry and them wanting more for themselves, and then going on to go from, I remember my father says, look, all he wanted to do was make an extra $300 a month in network marketing when he first started. And then they stuck and stayed, and they learned the skills, and then ended up, over $50,000 a month. And as a young person coming up, as I got to see this made me say, wow, if they can do it, I can do it. And this is certainly an industry where anybody, if they have the drive and the want to, can fulfill the dreams that they have for themselves.
Awesome. And your parents, I knew they were rock stars. I knew they were in my upline. And here's the cool part. All right, they're completely down to earth. And in our family, we call ourselves a big group, billionaires in training. And like I said, it's like a whole nother world. And when I became a part of it, and it was pretty cool because it was an oasis. It was kind of like when the rest of the world was all about status, who has this, who has that, and looking down upon each other. The big group was nothing but love. It was people. Okay, okay, can you see me?
Yes.
Look like we got disconnected for a second there. Okay, but anyway, when I was going through the toughest part of my life, as far as dealing with the health problems, the heart problems, and also watching my money dwindle, it was the big group that was the oasis. It was just people that wanted the best for me and believed in me enough to push me to the next level. It's nothing but love when it comes to this business family that we're a part of. And but I'm telling you, it was just an absolute blessing to meet them. And Boomy, and I remember the Wheels with FDI. I remember your mom and your father, how they worked together as a team. To me, that is a blessing when you can work as a family in something like this here, going towards financial freedom. And because right now, I think one of the killing a lot of people's relationships is the fact that you have both people spending 40, 50 hours in totally opposite directions, and it's putting a lot of strain on a lot of people. That was some of the one of the things I kept hearing as far as people that I've been in association with, people I've been helping. So when I saw your parents and the way they worked together, and saw what they actually build, I was like, man, I want that for myself. you know, so they're big inspirations to me.
Well, they're inspirations to a lot of people, and I'm so glad that you brought them up because I always want people to follow them. For some reason, I'm hearing an echo on social media because now my parents made a decision to move out of the country. They moved to Panama about 2 years ago, and now they're doing whatever they want to every day. And it was because of this industry of network marketing that allowed that to be so. I love this industry. I'm glad we're here today to talk about the commitment factor so that people can actually not just be in the industry, but let the industry change their lives. So talk to us a little bit about commitment. What are we going to share with people in reference to that today?
You know, here's a definition of commitment to me. A lot of times people are trying to put the cart before the horse. They're trying to get to I guess the reward without putting the effort in. Case in point, look at celebrities. When we see a celebrity, we hear their struggle, where they came from, and then we look at how successful they are. And what's happening is we glorify their success. Like, wow, they never gave up. They came from this to this, to a mansion and this and that. But the problem that I find is it's like nobody's really in love with the struggle, not the struggle of financial struggle, but the struggle it takes to become that version of you that is actually going to be successful. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be committed, the first order of commitment is to be committed to yourself first and foremost. Be committed to self-improvement. For me, like I said, I started at ground zero. I was in a dead-end job, could not stand it, and I started having heart problems. I could not work. My bank account was going down. Anybody else would have probably just folded. But for me, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give up. I didn't give up on my life. I didn't give up on my finances. And I'm going to tell you, the hardest thing that you can ever choose to do is to do something absolutely different. But if you are committed to it, committed to growth, because here's the real thing too that most people are missing. The version of you that is successful has not been developed yet. Who you are right now in the present, that person is going to get who that person is built to. You're going to get whatever you're built for. And right now you're starting at zero. But if you're committed, like I said, to educating yourself, taking the time out to read a book, turn off the TV, let go of the reality shows, find yourself a mentor. And things will work out for you. And it's not going to happen tomorrow. It may not happen next week. But if you really are committed, and if you're focused, if there's something that you want passionately, like if it burns in you, every decision that you make is going to lead up to the outcome of whatever your goal is. And when it comes to our profession, and I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people that come into this thing and then they leave. And I tell everybody, the reason why, you're not finding success is because you have not perfected your craft. They're not committed enough to actually learn the business. If you're not committed to learn whatever it is that you're trying to get into, then you've pretty much already made a commitment to failure. I didn't want to get too deep as far as, like my personal business. I want to keep it generic so that you can reflect this in your own personal life. If you're looking to be a baker, then you need to go ahead and learn baking skills. If you're looking to be a chef, a lot of cooks are great cooks, but when they go to culinary school, there's extra techniques that you actually learn. So, with us in any aspect of business, like I said, take the time out to perfect who you are. The first order of business is to look in the mirror and recognize who you are, and even recognize your shortcomings, because that's the only way that you can actually accomplish anything. You have to look at who you are and be honest with yourself. Like for me, I'm a planner. I am an organizer. I am a presenter. That's who I am. But being in the forefront, like doing this live, Boomy has been telling me to do lives for probably about a good year. Okay, how long was I going for? A while?
No, about 20 seconds.
Can you hear me? Okay. I had to actually switch to wireless. I was on, I don't know, it was something that happened. But, anyway, just to make a long story short, if there's something that you want, if you want a different life, then you have to be honest with yourself. And, first and foremost, be honest with yourself if you're willing to put the work in. And like I said, you will, like I said, you will become the person that you need to be as long as you're focused on it. I don't know how much where I got cut off, Boomy, but is there anything you want to add to that?
Well, I'm thinking about this topic of commitment, and what's coming to me is burning your bridges or burning the ships. Like I heard this story about this, I don't know if it was Napoleon or whoever, and he was leading his troops into battle, and he had these ships and he landed on this island or whatever, and he said, burn the ships, right? Because we either win or we perish. That's commitment when you burn the ships. Because there's no going back.
That's true.
Right?
Right.
And so I think people in this season, these network marketing, whatever business it goes, you need to have that type of commitment to your dreams, to getting the job done, to whatever it is that you say that you want. Like for me, the reason why I can be committed, so committed, is because my ships have been burned. I don't have a job. I have to make my own income. And I don't want a job. The thought of having a job is nauseous. I've never been able to do it long term. Right? I've done it, yes. Have I done it long? No. So I know that if I want to be able to stay home, wake up when I want, have the day to be my own, and be happy all day long, which is very important to me, I must work my business at a certain level to bring in the income that will allow me to take care of my lifestyle, my bills, a $3,000 mortgage, 5 children, grandkids, tuition. You know what I'm saying? And so you can't be washed in your commitment if you got some big things speaking at you like that, right? And so your goal should speak to you. Like, it's like, how bad do you want it? Most people have like a take it or leave it kind of attitude towards their goals. And I know it's like that because they're not working their business with the intensity and the commitment like they gotta have it now. Right? And so here's my definition of commitment. Doing the thing that you said you would do. Wait a minute. Do you have two phones or anything playing? I'm hearing myself talk.
No, I'm actually outside on the patio now. I just have the cell.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on. So, here's my definition of commitment. Doing the thing that you said you would do long after the feeling you said you would do it under is gone.
Right.
All right. So when you start a business or you sign for network marketing, I don't know where this echo was coming from, and I don't want to.
I can actually hear you just fine, but I know it's probably bugging you in your ear.
And I know that Tina said it's a serious echo too. So anyway, we're just gonna keep on pushing through this. But when you say that, oh yeah, I'm gonna sign up for this business, this and that. No, everything's like roses, right? The reality of business hasn't set in, so it's easy to say, oh, I'm gonna do this. But then the commitment comes in. You staying excited when you are getting rejection. You keep on working when a lot of people have told you no. When you got to stay up late, when you got to wake up early, when you got to press up against fears, when you got to do things that are new. Still working through all of that. That's commitment. So people have to figure out what is that driving factor that will help you to be committed to your goals and dreams. You got to figure that out on your own. I got to give it to you. Everybody's motivated by different things. For me, it's a certain lifestyle that I want. Not working a job. Just, I know my potential. I know what I'm capable of, and everybody's capable of. So why not me and why not now? Let's go get it.
Mm-hmm. And I love, you brought up a couple of points. The interesting thing is, like when you were mentioning about, continuing even, after the excitement dies down, you mention that all the time. One thing, that I tell people to this right here, to get to the point where you're able to make correct actions regardless of what you're feeling, like making the same way you brush your teeth every single morning, no matter what, making the right type of actions that will bring success to you should come just as natural as breathing. And the interesting thing is I see people more committed to, their jobs that they can't even stand their job. They're in an abusive relationship with their employer. A lot of people really are. And, and it's interesting because they keep going back for more. They're more committed to trying to impress those people who don't value them, or that job that doesn't pay them according to their worth. They're more committed to other people's dreams than they are their own. And I know it's most likely a fear factor. And when you mentioned about burning the ship, the interesting thing is the time I made the most money in my life was when I had absolutely no choice. I remember I didn't work for about 5 years. A lot of people didn't know this. But when my heart problems first started hitting, like I said, I could not work. I had to use my brain. And I was actually, by using my brain, I was actually able, like every now and then, every couple of months, every 3 months, I was making deposits of thousands of dollars in my bank account.
That's awesome.
And, unfortunately, the majority of that money went to me staying alive. Like me being alive, it costs, costs a lot of money. But the thing was, my back was against the wall. So that's what I had to do. And I was sitting up there amazed at how much money I was able to generate when I wasn't able to work in a job and my back was against the wall. And here's the thing, I didn't work for 5 years. I'm still here, still alive. I spent a lot of money to stay healthy, and I still was able to take care of my kid. That's the awesome part, Yeah, it was like no excuses, so to speak, when your back is against the wall and you have nothing to do. But you can either fold or you can thrive. And I chose to thrive. And I'm going to tell you, it is not easy. It's not like it was not a glamorous life. There was some times where I would just push beyond my limit. Sometimes I'm like, Lord, I just take me now, God, please. And it gets like that sometimes. But, the one trait that I do have is the fact that I never, ever give up. But when you said that about burning the ship, I was like, man, that is so true. It is so liberating when you finally get to that point where you can actually create something out of nothing. And I don't know. Remember when I was telling you before, it was like people are a part of two different worlds. You remember I was saying that to you?
When was that? You told me a lot.
Okay, yeah, you're right, I do. What I was saying was we're occupying the exact same planet, the same planet. And there's the world that impoverishes us. And like I said, it has its own systems, its own way of doing things. And then there's the world that we're trying to create for ourselves. And in a sense, we have to choose which world we want to live in. And for me, I choose to rock with you in the big group. Our goals is, like I said, to be financially free, to be healthy, and to bring prosperity to those that are around us. To me, when I got connected to the big group, that's what it was to me. It was like a whole nother world. And now it's kind of like when I joined back with you, there was a decision that I had to make. There was still a part of me that still was clinging to the old way of life. I don't know why. Maybe it was fear, or maybe it's because some people love working a job that I didn't want to offend them by saying that I'm anti-job now. I'm not don't work, but what I'm saying is, let your job be for a purpose. If that's the case, let it fund.
Yes.
Let your job be. Your job is there to acquire assets, and your assets should be to what you use to fund your life. So I'm not knocking the concept of it, but I have fully let go of caring about what people think, caring about that fear factor that I have. And so now I'm now learning, even now, a deeper level of commitment. If I know for a fact that you can actually live a life that is completely free. As a matter of fact, me and Percy are going to have a live too next. And Percy brought up a good point about, he said, we need to focus on getting residual income because we have residual bills. He said that, because bills going to come no matter what, and for right now, our way to pay bills is to trade the most precious commodity we have, which is our time. Yeah. We're trading time for dollars, so to speak, so that we can pay bills that come in every single month. But that residual, and Boomy, how are you enjoying that residual income? How does that manage, all those expenses you were talking about?
I'm telling you guys, there's nothing like residual income. And if you don't have it in your life, you need everything within you to go get it. Because it's like you work hard, you build up a source of residual income, and like a lot of times in network marketing, you say you get in to get out. If you build a strong residual income, you can stop your business, but yet your money doesn't stop. Just imagine being in that position.
Right.
So I've got streams of residual, whether I do anything or not. I'm still getting paid. I got businesses that I haven't really worked in years, but yet I get paid every single month. That's the power of residual. So find a good business, products you believe in as a good company. Build up yourself a stream of residual income with a product or service of value that people want to pay for every month or regularly, every quarter or whatever. And then, it gives you so many options. You can travel more, and you can, just do more for your family and do more for your church or whatever, because no matter what, you've got this income coming in that's not based off of your right now effort. You've already paid that price. And now the money is continuing to come, and you get that thank you check every month.
And the interesting thing is, for other people to get residual income, that's what they call that retirement. They have to work 40 years, 40 hours every single week. And the goal is to get to the point where you retire, if the company doesn't steal your pension, that is, or if it doesn't fold, but the goal is to get that money that comes in every single month so that they can live comfortably for the rest of their life. The cool part is we're doing that now. And, so even if a person don't have, let's say they only have $200 a month that comes in residual. And see, when we say residual, that means you don't have to go to work for it. It means it comes in automatically. And, so if a person is making $200 a month residual, they're ahead of the game by 40 years, already, as far as, anybody else. And it's a cool concept. And I'm extremely thankful that, that I actually now understand what it really is. And to me, when you have enough residual income to take care of your residual bills, which they cancel each other out, so to speak. So from there, you're able to fund your lifestyle is now free. You know, you're living a free life now, and anything extra that you get that is greater than your bills, that's when you start thriving. And to me, it's that whole concept. It goes back, you know, like something that I read in the gospel, something Jesus said. He was saying, "Pay Caesar's things back to Caesar, but God's things back to God." Well, in a sense, that's the way I look at residual income. You know, these bills that we have and the life that we live is not the way we were designed to live. You know, we were not supposed to be confined, you know, working as hard as we do as individuals, struggling as individuals. No, we're supposed to do things collectively. So to me, you know, that's just my way, my ticket for freedom. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, like, I don't care who you are, you know, if you have to continue to do what you have to do to fund your lifestyle, then you're an economic slave. You're still in bondage. You know, but to actually be free, it is the most amazing thing. Now, I did not have residual income in this example I'm about to give you, but, you know, years ago, I had all my bills paid in January for the whole year. I had all of my expenses, all my money was, everything was straight. Ring was 100% taken care of in January for the whole year. And that's the kind of preparation that I love to do. And I'm telling you, that is liberating. And I still worked. I had my own business, and I worked a part-time because it was fun. You know, I enjoyed what I did. I worked there because I enjoyed it. And the last job that I had to quit because my health started dwindling again. But I was there for like 3 years, and I honestly didn't even know how much I was making per hour. I did not know until I was leaving. I thought they cut my pay. And I was like, oh my God, you know, but, you know, this is how it is when you understand the money game, you know. So even outside of what me and Boomy are doing, and you should really get with us, by the way, outside of that, if you understood money management, I'm telling you, the last person that I actually helped with money management, I had worked out a plan where they could take 4 vacations a year. And at the end of a 5-year period, they had $45,000 saved.
Go ahead, Terrell. Did they follow your plan? Did they follow your plan?
I don't think they did, but the stress that they had dwindled. I mean, the stress just went away, and it was just like all on paper. You know, it's like it's really, it's not about having the whole world. You don't need a lot of money. You just need to know what to do with what you have. If you have focus, you have commitment, and you have a skill set, I'm telling you, you can go from the cardboard box in the mansion anytime that you choose. And this whole concept of preparation, first off, as a believer, it's in the word, you know, first and foremost, I want to say that. But there was a gentleman that really sparked this thought in my head. You know, he would test himself. He would go to a city that he didn't know anybody, and he would just start with enough money to pay for a hotel room. And then he would use his skill set to build wealth wherever he was located. And I thought that was amazing. I was like, wow, you know, for him, success is not an accident. It's not luck. He developed a skill set that where he can generate wealth no matter what or wherever he's at. If he starts from ground zero, he can build it all back up again. And again, so I thought that was amazing. And, you know, and to learn that means that you have to think differently. And so, you know, the reason why I wanted to do this live was because I want to give people a wake-up call. I want you to see that there's a whole nother world outside of the way that you're living. You know, living paycheck to paycheck, struggling as an individual is not the way that you're supposed to be. And the cool thing I love about like the business that me and Boomy are in, you know, her success is my success is her success. As you know, even though we are separate, our money doesn't touch. Our success is actually connected. You know, this is what I call team wealth building. We're building wealth as a team. You know, Boomy has no problems helping me. You know, whatever I make, you know what I'm saying, as far as like residually or whatever, when I make my residual money, Boomy gets about 50% of that as a bonus. That doesn't come out of my pot, you know, but that benefits her. At the same time, Boomy has brought me all kinds of business, you know, because we have a situation where, you know, the success that she has spills over into me. So this whole concept of building wealth as a team, as a family unit, I'm telling you, this is the way God intended for it to be. Boom, you remember that story? It's a book that I read a long time ago. It was a story about some people that was collected together, and they said, we're going to build a tower all the way to the heavens. You remember that story?
I remember that story.
The interesting part about it was, in that story, God did not say that they couldn't do it. What he said was, when they put their mind together, there's nothing they can't accomplish. So, that's something to think about for anybody that is claiming to be a believer. This system is not designed, where we can prosper. This system is designed to keep people impoverished, to keep people in their place. So when I see this system, I really see that, like I said, when I say we're economic slaves, I see us all on a big economic slave plantation. And I feel like I'm one of those freedom fighters that's trying to wake people up and bring them to freedom. And you'd be surprised who don't want freedom.
And I'm with you. I'm a freedom fighter too. And we have to help people to get free and be like Harriet Tubman, right? She had that gun. Ain't no turning back. If you start this journey, you're going to finish with it.
You know what? I didn't say her name, but that's exactly who I was thinking about, And it's like that, it's a do or die situation, because in a sense, it is a do or die situation, because what's going to happen when your job says, hey, you know what? It's over. You're no longer needed, and everybody see it happen. We see people get fired every day. We see what happens when somebody gets sick and we don't have the money to care for them or care for ourselves, and another analogy is, just imagine that we're on a farm, we've been domesticated. We get our feed every single morning, so we're comfortable. And every now and then we see somebody get led to the slaughterhouse, but because it's not our turn, we don't worry about it. The truth of the matter is, that's every one of us. Most people are just a paycheck away from being homeless. That's just a fact. So, I don't know if you've seen the movie Chicken Run, Boomy.
Oh,
but
that
Chicken Run.
Yeah, years ago, I remember the kids.
Yeah. Right. And that movie right there, I'm telling you, that movie is like a key for financial success. If you look at that freedom that they were going for as being financially free, and that pie that they're about to be made into, see, that's life. Life is going to happen. So you got to go ahead and get prepared.
Hey, well, Terrell, you are just like such a wealth of knowledge. I just love the knowledge and wisdom that you just spew out when you talk. I know Roxanne and Tina said, wow, I could just listen to you all day. Absolutely. So thank you so much for bringing me into this live. I'm going to have to get ready to run now. But if you guys are seeing this video, you got to connect with Terrell. He's somebody that you definitely want to know. If you're looking for opportunity, he's someone that you can connect with, and he's going to be there for you every single step of the way. And he's a part of our larger team, the Bit Group. So you got Terrell, you got me, you got the team at large, you've got a whole community of people who will love on you and will help you through this journey as you go from slavery to freedom, if you know what I mean. It's time to get your freedom. Get rid of that job if you want to. Get rid of that lack and limitation type of mindset, and let's just go experience all the abundance that this universe that God has for us. So thank you so much for this live. And above all, Terrell said he wants you guys to be consistent. Don't forget about that.
Amen. Be consistent. And, and like I said, this whole speaking thing, like, this is my passion, teaching, this is just pretty much what I do. And for those that don't know, we're going to have a Super Saturday this next month. And I'm going to be one of the speakers. So, get in contact with me. This is an O2 event. And we're going to talk a little bit about health, and we're also going to talk about wealth. So make sure that you stay tuned for that as well. And like I said, connect with us, connect with Boomy, and hey, let's go to the next level. Let's do this thing together.
All right, see you, Terrell.
All right, Boomy, be blessed.
Bye-bye. You've inspired a lot of people today.
Well, thank you for always pushing me to do lives. Now I'm addicted to it again.
All right. Hey, Tina says, yes, let's go from slavery to freedom. I love this. Now I want to live this. Yes, that's what it's about. Oh, I love that. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Amen. Okay, now I see everybody's comments. Okay. All right, be blessed.